Hello. Okay. How is everyone doing today? So, we are going to be talking about integrating holistic care into your canine care. So, I'm going to start us off with a simple grounding exercise. I want everyone to take their right ear to their right shoulder, hold for 3 seconds. Now come to center. I want you to take your left ear to your left shoulder, hold for 3 seconds. Come to center. I want you to think of this phrase: in my body right now, I feel, and take a big, deep breath. Before we can work with animals in any capacity, we need to be aware of how we are feeling and be grounded ourselves. My name is Kayleen Campbell, and I am the owner of Violet's Pet Services in Seattle, Washington, and host of the Pupology podcast on Spotify. I started off pet sitting as a way to make ends meet in 2022, and my obsession for working with dogs took off from there. I am a third generation dog trainer, self taught groomer, animal communicator, and a certified canine myofacial massage therapist through Angels Animals Holistic Studies. I am continuing my education in their canine, feline, and equine acupressure courses to add to my skill set. I use a mix of ABA psychology, tone, and emotional communication to work with dogs. You'll see my dog Xander in the back. He is just going to chill out with us. So I said I use a mix of ABA psychology. So ABA is applied behavioral analysis. It's a scientific method that's most commonly used in conjunction with children with autism. As a behavioral technician, I transfer my knowledge into my dog training clients and my other dog clients. It takes up to 10 seconds to decide if they want to listen, unless they're really intrigued with something else. So I follow the method of saying the cue once, waiting, then rewarding. Treats are the most common reward system, but what do I do when treats don't work? This is where my knowledge of behavior and individuality comes in. I've used toys, attention, and more for rewards. So, what happens if the dog isn't understanding the cue or is more interested in something else? I use forms of differential reinforcement and we keep trying the activity until it clicks for the both of us. Sometimes I use DRO where I reinforce the absence of the behavior. Let's say your dog is sniffing bushes instead of focusing on you, because the bushes are producing the higher reward. So the second your dog stops sniffing, you reward, and you build up to the full cue. This is known as most to least prompts. When using DRI, I reinforce one behavior where two behaviors cannot happen at the same time. Your dog is sniffing the bushes again, so what do? Start jogging. Your dog is now moving too fast to sniff the bushes. Once your dog's attention is on the movement, you reward. DRA is rewarding a replacement behavior. Sometimes they happen at the same time. Let's say your dog really likes to chase squirrels and sniff bushes. You choose to reward anytime your dog sniffs a bush instead of chasing a squirrel. DRL is reducing behavior. DR, DRL is used with DRO a lot. So you're going to count how long your dog sniffed a bush. If it's less than what it was last time, reward. That's just kind of how I use ABA in training. I do use it in other modalities as well, but this is the easiest one for me to explain it. As you and your dog start to understand the behavior expected, the easier these training sessions will go, especially when they're used in conjunction with holistic modalities. Holistic care is taking the whole animal into consideration: mind, body, and spirit. Each session I have, I take into account breed, age, temperament, and adjust from there. Some dogs need more spiritual work and some need more physical work, but most need a balance of the two. I tend to teach through stories as I feel they paint a better picture of how integration works through real life examples. My first client was a corgi, Bella, who jumped in the shower with me and got an impromptu bath on my first sit with her. Before I ever started grooming professionally, during one long sit, Bella with one bleh. During one long sit with Bella, I decided to take my flute with me. I took it out and let her sniff each part before I assembled it. I then took the headpiece and blew into it, watching her reaction. Her ears perked up and she immediately started sniffing the headpiece. I finished putting the flute together and began to play lower register notes. And to my surprise, she started dancing and absolutely loved it. This prompted me to look into flute sounds and learn that wind instruments seem to be dogs' favorite types of instruments. They're used in many dog specific genre songs. I had two huskies as clients, Cody and Flora. Flora the puppy was rambunctious and wouldn't sit still for a pick for her pet guardians. She was very food motivated, and that played a huge part in her training, but sound also worked to get her attention. So before we would start any training, I would start a howling session with them. Because I would howl with them, they bonded with me, and this made training go so much smoother. I would play the flute for them as well, which they weren't always a fan of, but would stop them in their tracks if I needed to get their attention quickly. This provided a safe and effective way for us to communicate during high pressure situations. After getting my certification, I had a client with a dog, Hazel, who was 15 years old with vestibular disease and arthritis. After 4 sessions, her pet parent noticed Hazel had more energy and strength in her back legs. Hazel regaining strength in her legs allowed her wobbly walk to straighten out some. Uh, And we did notice that the vet said that her arthritis went into remission, which was an awesome and notable change. Now, massage is not going to cure vestibular disease or arthritis on its own, but by massaging the muscles around those joints, it allowed those joints to be able to heal slowly. So that was awesome and amazing and something that I never thought I would say. During one massage session, I had a dog that would throw himself when he was done, just plop the top half of his body down. It was a little concerning the first time it happened, but during the course of the session, when he would show his tells of getting ready to flop, I would use co-regulation and compression through a hug that would help lay him down gently. Once he was down, I would stay holding him until his breath and heartbeat would even out before continuing. This showed him that I wasn't going to let anything happen to him and help him when his anxiety got too high, and we were able to do a full massage that he really absolutely loved. We all know many dogs don't like their groomers because of loud noises, bright lights, and instruments that they're not comfortable with, close to areas they don't like being touched. When I'm grooming a dog, I put on a curated sound bath playlist and diffuse whichever oil they pick. I work with each dog's comfort level. I've had a senior client, Buddy, who just melted in the session, falling asleep and purely relaxed. I've also had a dog, Murphy, who had a huge fear of air dryers. The way I worked with Murphy, who was afraid of the dryer, was to go slow and dry with microfiber towels. I did have to use the dryer for the really damp parts, mostly his tail, butt, and paws, so I used it in tandem with treats, lots of co regulation, and breaks in between. I do let every dog sniff each tool before, during, and after to get them comfortable with the tool. Now, I know this is all about dogs, but I have to give a small anecdote on cats as well. My cat has had stomach issues for a long while. After a vet visit where they gave us probiotics, where we only got limited improvement, I started trying acupressure on him. I started with tracing the spinal meridian, and this slowly improved his bathroom functions along with the probiotic. He had less diarrhea and his fart smell lessened. I also noticed he got a bit of his energy back and became the playful cat I once knew. At first, he wasn't a fan of the acupressure sessions, but after two or three, he started to ask for them on particularly bad stomach days. I remember being jealous of animal communicators when I first learned that was a thing that you could do. I'd had a few supernatural experiences before this and honestly didn't know that you could learn animal communication. I thought it was something you were born with. Through many years of studying how to work with energy and transferring that knowledge to animals, I started trying to connect with my own animals. I first connected to my cat, and when the session was over, we both looked at each other, absolutely bewildered. I have never seen my cat give me that look before or since. My dog did take a little longer to connect with due to his trauma of being on doggy death row as a puppy. Once we finally connected, I was able to sit with him in that space. After a while, I brought in the spiritual lights, green and blue, for healing, calm, and communication. His energy has been lighter ever since, and we have been able to communicate more frequently. I currently have a broken foot, and at first he kept wanting to sit right next to it. After having a session where I explained both out loud and energetically, he has mostly left it alone or asked permission to be near it. My first session with an animal that wasn't my own was a cat who started laughing at me for coughing. She had a very masculine energy about her and knew what she wanted. She wanted to be let outside without a leash and first thing in the morning. She showed me a doggy door so she didn't have to wait on her humans. I wasn't expecting to have to compromise in my first session, but I wasn't going to allow for a higher risk of this cat getting hurt or worse. So I asked if she would accept a window perch. She immediately turned that down. So I then asked about a cat tree. She accepted it being moved to in front of the door so she could look outside. Last week, I did a breathwork energy healing session for a wonderful human. My dog chose to hang out with my partner, but my cat, who doesn't like people, stayed in the room with us. As I'm focused on the energy healing, I notice my cat is laying right next to her unprompted. He also stayed with her and let her pet him after the session was over. I remember that I didn't really feel energetically drained like I usually do after facilitating a healing session. This reminded me that animals heal us as much as we heal them. My cat took on her energy because that's what she needed. After the session, I had learned that she had lost her own cat about a month ago. Both my dog and my cat have enjoyed the benefits of all of the above things that I've mentioned here. My dog's two favorites personally are massage and music. I've used more than one modality on every dog I've worked with, and it has made a huge difference in our relationship, whether it's a short one or a long one. By going into each session with a flexible plan and connecting first, I've gotten greater results than what I or the pet parent expected. I do bring my essential oils to all of my clients' appointments. Typically, I carry copaiba, lavender, and cedarwood. I carry lavender for relaxation and calming properties, cedarwood for lymphatic flow as well as a pest repellent, copaiba for its healing properties. I let the dogs sniff the oils before diluting them during their session. The majority choose the copaiba essential oil, which tells me that they're in more pain than they're letting on. Copaiba has similar healing properties to an NSAID due to it being a resin from the Brazilian copaiba tree. Copaiba is traditionally used in Brazilian shaman rituals. A few books I recommend that have helped my overall journey: Canine Enrichment for the Real World by Emily Armstrong and Ali Bender. This book is a great introduction into holistic care. It was recommended to me by my dog training mentor and actually started my holistic care journey. Energy in Action is by Shariana Boyle is a great way to learn new grounding methods for yourself and introduces spiritual lights, and this really helps me to get ready for a session with my clients. Animal Chakra Healing by Joan Renquet breaks down each chakra and ties them into their connecting acupoints and meridians. And I am almost finished with that book. I'm on my last 15 pages, but that has been such an amazing introduction into a deeper look into chakras. I make curated lists for dog parents on Bindable and am an affiliate with Benefab, who provide therapeutic clothing, and Lumasoothe, who provide red light therapy wands. In the next few months, I will be releasing 2 essential oil blends, Tranquil Tales, and Calming Canine. Thank you for being here today. My name is Kayleen, owner of Violet's Pet Services in Seattle, Washington, and host of the Pupology podcast on Spotify. You can follow Violet's Pet Services on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram.